Hi, welcome back. It's Wednesday. It's day 13 today. And one of the most magnificent things about this journey that I've been on over the last 13 days is that it's allowed me to connect with some extraordinary people again, either through my writing or through contact. And sometimes it's been people that I haven't heard from for many, many years. I had the most amazing phone call with a great friend of mine who I met him a week after I saw him, and that sounds quite weird. But I was at a rugby match. It was at Ellis Park. It was South Africa playing against New Zealand. The stadium was full. And in the northwest corner, the crowds were going nuts. It was before the game had even started. They were doing Mexican waves in the northwest corner. They were jumping, they were shouting, they were singing. And I noticed that in the corner of the field, there was a guy sending off merchandise out of a cannon. It was a sort of a miniature cannon, and he was blasting rugby balls and T-shirts and caps and all sorts of things into the stadium. And he was whipping up this crowd into an absolute frenzy. He was listening for their participation, and then he would aim the cannon to the right place where the people were most noisy, and then he would fire off this merchandise. And of course, he really got full participation and massive crowd engagement. And I thought, well, how lucky for the northwest corner, they've got the cannon. And then I noticed that every corner of the ground had a similar cannon. And what I then noticed was that the secret didn't lie so much in the cannon. It lay in the operator of the cannon. While the others were largely disengaged, this guy would be running up and down the sidelines. When he ran out of merchandise, he would steal quietly from somebody else's merchandise and shoot it off into his adoring crowd. And when he had no more merchandise left, in a ceremonial act, he took off his own T-shirt, put it into the cannon, and threw it into the crowd. And you can imagine they went berserk. He left to rapturous applause. And anyway, it was time for the anthems. But it got me thinking that this guy had taken the mundane and he had turned it into the magical. And so the topic of my essay this morning was making magic out of the mundane. And there's an extract that I'd like to share. There are examples all over the place of this, if we stop long enough, even to care to take notice. It might be the customs official who stamps hundreds of passports, but who looks up and wishes you safe travels, or even better, welcome home. Can you imagine the thousands of South Africans stranded right now in countries outside of South Africa? If they get home to a welcome home, somebody would have turned the mundane passport control into a magical experience. It might be the cashier who scans 5 times as much through her till as perhaps she earns in a month. But she smiles gently at your children. It's the traffic attendant who dances while directing traffic at a busy intersection. And maybe it's that washroom attendant who says with an untrainable smile, "Welcome to my office." And so this week, I've really been amazed, I've been enthralled, I've been entertained by so many people who are taking the mundane and turning it into the magical. Alan Bedford Shaw is a great mate, and every day he posts something, some bird sighting in his garden, and then an interesting post about those birds. Sarah Barrett is playing a Beat the Intro at 5 o'clock every evening, and we're only allowed to have our glass of wine or G&T when somebody gets the answer right as to which song it is. Gareth Beaver has just started an initiative where his family are going to fast for 24 hours. They're going to take that money that they would have spent and they're going to give it to Gift of the Givers. And then there's Hugh Page, who every day at 10 o'clock shares stories, shares reflections, and builds incredible relationships and networks with people around cricket and golf and stories of humanity. And so while we feel as though we're in Groundhog Day and that the world seems really mundane, sometimes things will be really difficult to find the magic in, but other times it might be just putting on your favorite pairs of shoes, having a good laugh, and remembering something magic out of the mundane. I wish you a great Wednesday, and I hope that you find today some magic in the mundane. Till tomorrow, have a wonderful Wednesday.